Hello, everyone, and welcome to another tier list video with Just Saying. I'm Shay,
And I'm Jairus.
and it is finally time for our National Hockey League standings predictions. Obviously, we're a little late. Unforeseen circumstances made that happen, but we think it's still early enough.
Better late than never.
That's right. To give our opinions on where we think all the teams are going to land. Not just our personal favorite teams, but every team involved in the National Hockey League. Of course, this is Jairus' favorite sport.
Yes.
This is the sport I know the least about. However, we are both coming together to give you our opinions. If Jairus is going to be taking the lead on this by far, because he is just so smart.
I'm a hockey expert.
Which is totally fine with me. Again, this is the sport I know the least about, even though I love the Bruins, obviously. But I'm excited. I'm ready. And we're going to kick things off with the Colorado Avalanche, right?
Yeah, that's right. So real quick, I'm just going to explain how these tier lists are going to work. So up first, we have our playoff tier list. So up top, we got the Stanley Cup Finals. So we're going to give you guys our early Stanley Cup predictions. Who's going to be in the final and who's going to win it. Then we have our division leaders. So there's 4 divisions. There will be 4 teams in that tier. Playoff teams will be teams that we think are going to make the playoffs. The wild card, there's only going to be 4 teams in this tier as well, because there's only 2 wild cards in each conference. There's 2 conferences. In the hunt means they're going to be very close to the wild card, but they're just going to miss out, maybe playing really important games for the last month of the season. And then the draft lottery, your team sucks, so they're competing for a top draft pick. So as we all know, obviously, San Jose is winning the Stanley Cup. No, but let me just say, too, we have a team that has the greatest hockey name to ever glaze this earth, the Utah Hockey Club. Fantastic name.
Listen, I actually am a fan of the name and the logo. I really am.
Yeah. It reminds me of soccer, so it's not bad.
And can we go to this logo right here? Look at that. Look at that beauty.
It's a fantastic logo.
Oh, I'm sorry, I messed everything up.
Oh my god. I'll fix it. But so that's gonna be our playoff tier list there.
Jairus is gonna try and stay on his side of the tier list this time.
Yeah. Eventually, I'll have enough of those clips where I'll just make a compilation of messing your list up. But after we do our playoff tier list, then we have our regular season standings
But
tier
wait,
list.
there's more.
That's right. So we'll be able to fill in, our winners and then our top 3 wild card. But we'll just be predicting, where the order in which we think they're going to finish. So the top teams will be first, and they'll work from left to right, from top of the division all the way down to the bottom.
Everyone sucks except the Bruins. There you go.
That's right. And right now we have these teams in order, based on the current regular season standings, because we kind of want to talk about each team a little bit, just to kind of give you a recap. And it's already about like 15%, 20% of the way through the season. So it's rolling. Same with basketball. And look out for our basketball standings tier list, which will be coming very soon. So, without further ado, let's get rolling with our playoff tier list. And up first, we have the Colorado Avalanche.
From Colorado.
I don't think Colorado wins the division. Ever since they won the Cup in 2022, they've had to shed a lot of depth. But they still have Nathan McKinnon, Mikko Rantanen, Cale Makar, just a 3-headed monster on offense, and one of the best defensemen on the back end. Goaltending, bit of a question mark. Very, very much a question mark. Georgiev has not looked great at all through the first, 13 or so games. So they're relying on their backup, but I still think they make the playoffs. The Central is very strong. So as of now, I'm going to put them in a playoff team. If I have them in a wild card, I might change it later. But I think they're definitely a playoff team. They're not going to miss the playoffs.
Yeah, I have to agree with you. I think they are too strong of it. Oh, I messed it up again. Damn it. Shit. Okay, we're back. Sorry.
Whoa, no fucking cussing. Watch your language.
I'm not a PC master race. Sorry. Um.
That's right.
Yeah, I think they're too strong to not make the playoffs. They're pretty ever since really they won the Stanley Cup. They're very consistently a great team. So, yeah, I think they're going to make the playoffs as well.
Yep. Moving on to a team who's not going to make the playoffs, but has a very exciting talent in Connor Bedard, the Chicago Blackhawks. They're obviously going to be a draft lottery team, but they are better than last year. They've added a lot of off-season pieces to surround Bedard with more offensive talent and veteran presence. So they'll probably be fun to watch, but they will be gunning for, top 5 pick, getting another potential franchise talent or, a very good forward or defenseman.
Yeah, someone to help Bedard.
Yeah. So pretty simple. They're in the draft lottery. I probably assume you have them in the same spot.
Yeah, they just started their, or maybe not just started, but they're in the middle of their rebuild. Bedard is obviously the face of the franchise, even though he's so young.
Now through the first 13 or so games, he has had trouble putting the puck in the net, but he's been good as of late. So I think when it's all said and done this season, he'll probably finish around, I'd say, 60, 70 points.
Yeah,
he's too talented to not.
He's way too talented, but he's also way too young. He's got a lot to learn and a lot of growing to do. So if I were a Chicago fan, I wouldn't be worried. Yeah, at all. I would just want to see some improvement over last year. That's all.
Yeah, exactly. Moving on to the Columbus Blue Jackets with the heartbreaking loss of Johnny Gaudreau. There's no expectation on this team, and I can speak for all of the hockey world to say that I think everybody is rooting for the Columbus Blue Jackets.
Yeah.
With that being said, they just unfortunately do not have enough offensive talent. They don't have a very good roster on paper, even though they added Sean Monahan and some other pieces. They're just not there yet. But Don Waddell, their GM, is trying to get them there. So who knows? Maybe in the next 3 years they'll start contending for a playoff spot and see where we go from there.
It's been a while since they've been there, right?
Last time they did was in 2020. They did make it through the bubble, so they were in the first round because teams that were in the play-in round technically made the playoffs. So like Arizona, the last time they made the playoffs, but some people say it doesn't count, but it does.
It does. I agree. I don't think they're gonna really do much this year, in spite of the loss of Johnny, unfortunately. But like you said, everybody is somewhat of a Columbus fan this year, I would have to say.
Yeah. Moving on to the St. Louis Blues. This team can really go either way. Their goaltending has not been good. Jordan Binnington, after having a really good season last year, has not looked great this year. They've lost their top forward, Robert Thomas, to injury. They got some good rookies coming up. They have a decent prospect pool, but I think they're in that just mediocrity where they're not good enough to maybe make the playoffs and contend for the cup, but they're not bad enough to where they can be a bottom team and get a top draft pick. With that being said, I think they're going to be farther away from the playoff line than the draft lottery. Just the inconsistency from game to game, you never know what you're going to get. I don't think they have to do a full-on rebuild. I think they could just retool real quick and hop back into the playoffs in maybe a year or two. But as of now, I don't think they have a good enough roster.
All right. I'm going to finally differ with you here. I'm going to put them in the hunt. I don't think they'll actually make the playoffs, but I don't think they're a bottom team. And if their goaltending lights it up like they did last year, and if they get some more consistency, which it's still very early in the season, so they could turn it around. If they get some more consistency, they they could get into the hunt by the end of the year.
Yeah, exactly. Moving on to your team, the Boston Bruins. I think they've actually been one of the more surprising teams this year, and not necessarily in a good way. After Swayman signed that contract for 8 years, kind of setting the goalie market.
Mm-hmm.
This team, outside of Pasta, it's just kind of not there. Their defense has not been good. Charlie McAvoy has had a very slow start to the season. And honestly, Swayman hasn't looked fantastic. He's not playing bad by any means.
Yeah.
But he's kind of just looked average. So I think the Bruins, they'll find some way, obviously, to make the playoffs. Are they a wild card though? I don't know. So for now, I'll put them in the playoff team, but I could easily see them getting in as a wild card. But I don't think they miss the playoffs.
Yeah, I was saying it earlier. If we re-sign Swayman, we're making the playoffs. If we didn't, we were going to miss the playoffs. But I was also saying long before that we were going to make the playoffs, but get knocked out in the first round. So I still think that is definitely going to happen. I agree the team has not so far looked as good as it maybe should. However, and you agree to this, Jim Montgomery is a great coach, and he's going to find a way to get the guys to at least make the playoffs, but I still just don't think we have the team to make a deep playoff run or even a finals run. So I'm going to say they're going to be a wild card.
All right. Yeah. I'm just kind of holding it right now because I'm just not too sure.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I could definitely see them being a wild card. Up next, the Montreal Canadiens. Pretty simple. They're also in the middle of their rebuild, so they're going to be a lottery team. Kind of little tension in Montreal right now because fans are not happy with the way the team's playing defensively, so they're kind of questioning the coach Marty St. Louis, former Lightning, by the way.
Yep.
His ability to, kind of insinuate that winning culture in this team, but I think it's being overblown. It's Montreal, the media is kind of a pressure cooker. So as long as the young players are making strides, they're still 2 or 3 years out from contending for the playoffs. So it's not a big deal.
Which is great because the Canadians suck and they're always going to be down there. Thank you. Moving on.
The Vancouver Canucks. Good team. Very good team. They got Quinn Hughes on the back end, who won the Norris Trophy last year. They got JT Miller. They got Brock Besser. Elias Pettersson, though, they paid him $11.6 million a year starting this year, I believe. They signed that contract last year. Ever since he signed that contract from last season up until now, he's looked pretty pedestrian, which I don't know if there's some mentally there, if he's battling injury, but he is way too talented to only have the amount of points that he does through the first 13 or so games. They also don't have their starting goalie Thatcher Demko right now. We don't really know when he's coming back or like what the status is. But they have a really good, stable option in net right now. So they're definitely going to be a playoff team. Will they be a wild card? I'm not sure yet. I think I'll do my wild cards at the end.
Yeah, I think the Canucks surprised a lot of people last year with how great they really seemed to be, and I mean how great they were. Is that sustainable for another season? Obviously, so far, maybe not, but I think they're way too good to not make the playoffs. So I think they're definitely a playoff team. Wild card, I don't know, but they're at least making the playoffs.
Yeah. moving on to the Washington Capitals, who have had a pretty great start to the season. I think they're second in the Metro right now. Just fantastic. Ovi looks like mid 2010s Ovi at 39 years old. I believe he has like 10 goals in 13 games. He is on pace to break Wayne Gretzky's record this season.
Yeah,
He's on pace for 52 goals
pretty
at
crazy.
39 years old,
Yeah, pretty
which is
insane.
insane. But it's not just Ovi. They have their young guys, Connor McMichael, Alexi Protas, Dylan Strome. They've all been fantastic. Goaltending has been kind of shaky, but if it stables up, I think the Capitals are an easy playoff team. Definitely. And their coach is pretty good, Spencer Carberry.
Yeah, I mean, compared to last year,
I mean,
Bear-
he led them to the playoffs last year with a negative 37 goal differential.
yeah, exactly. Just getting into the playoffs with something like that, to see them really continue on the path that they were on last year and prove like, hey, we're actually a good team, and especially with Ovechkin right now doing whatever the hell he's doing to be able to play how he's playing this year is pretty impressive. So I think they're going to make the playoffs as well. No doubt.
Yeah, definitely. All right, the New Jersey Devils, which is a team that's also looking to bounce back from a disappointing season last year, they look pretty good. They added a lot of good pieces in Brent Dillon, Brett Pesce, and Brendan Dillon. They got some young talent in Luke Hughes on the back end. They obviously got Jack Hughes. They have Jesper Bratt, Timo Meyer. They got a lot of depth scoring. Paul Cotter has been a very underrated addition in the offseason from Vegas. That being said, I definitely think they're a playoff team for sure. Yeah, so they're doing pretty well, and I'm rooting for them to bounce back and make the playoffs. I think it's fantastic when teams out of the playoffs make it. The next year. I think it really adds for an interesting season.
Yeah, their disappointing run last year, I think, is only fuel for them, or has only been fuel for them to get back into the playoffs. And so far this season, I think they've been proving that. So I think they're also a playoff team.
Yep. All right, the Anaheim Ducks with that fantastic new logo in Jersey. Pretty simple. They will be a draft lottery team. Again, same with all the other teams in this category. I think they're 2 or 3 years out from maybe contending for a playoff spot. I am starting to kind of get worried though about the Ducks because it doesn't seem like their offense is showing improvement, and they have a lot of young talent on their roster. So maybe a change behind the bench might be necessary. But I just want to highlight Lucas Dostal. He's been one of the best goalies in the league. And he does not have a winning record. And his offense has been anemic. But his advanced stats, like his goals save above expected, his save percentage, is just ridiculous for a team that is as bad as they are offensively.
Imagine if he was on a good team.
Yeah. Yeah, he's great. I wonder when they're going to trade John Gibson, who has been their starter there for a while, because it looks like he's ready to take over that net.
Yeah, I agree with you. I don't think they're really going to do anything in the middle of the rebuild, but maybe the first step of positivity for the Ducks is their rebranding.
Yeah, exactly. I didn't think the Kings would rebrand either because they had just won the Cup, 2014 is 10 years ago, but still, usually teams that win the Cup with their branding will keep it for a while.
Mm-hmm.
I would like the Lightning though to change their branding. It's a little boring. All right, the Calgary Flames. They've been a surprising team this year. I believe they're fourth in the division right now. They don't have a bad roster. They sold off a lot of guys. There's a lot of questions are they going into the full rebuild? Is their GM Craig Conroy going to fully tear this down? I I don't think they need to. I think they still have a good roster. They have Nazem Kadri, they have Jonathan Huberdeau, they have Rasmus Anderson. Dustin Wolf is their young goaltender. He's been looking pretty good. Uh, this might be a little controversial because a lot of people had them finishing like a bottom 5 team, but I think they're going to stay in the hunt for a playoff spot. I think they have a good enough team to where they can play into March and April. You know, maybe fall like 6 or 8 points out of the playoffs, but I don't think they're going to be as bad as a lot of people are saying.
Yeah, I don't think so either. I think they'll be in the hunt as well. Um, I don't think they have a chance to make the playoffs, but I don't think they're going to be, at the bottom of their division either, or even the conference.
Yeah. All right, Philadelphia Flyers, coached by the amazing John Tortorella. Outside of Matvey Michkov, who's the rookie this year and the Calder favorite, this team it's got pretty much nothing. So, got to put them in the lottery. They're last in their division right now. They have not looked great. They were in a playoff spot last year up until like the last 2 months of the season. Then everything kind of fell apart.
Mm-hmm.
But you can only play that style of hockey for so long, like that gritty playoff style, like block shots and defense first. It just wears and tears on the body so much that, this is just a year where they can't do it this year.
Yeah. Unfortunately, the Flyers being my second favorite team. Yeah. They're going for a lottery pick. Still in the rebuild. I don't know. With the way it's going right now, I really don't know if it's going to happen anytime soon where it's going to click.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I think the Flyers are in for a long, like 5 years.
Yeah.
Before they start, really start building everything back up.
Yeah.
All right. Moving on to the Vegas Golden Knights, another team that has had a fantastic start that a lot of people didn't expect. That top line of Jack Eichel, Mark Stone, and Ivan Barbashev, fantastic.
Yeah.
Fan-fucking-tastic. So this might be controversial too, but I think they're going to roar back this year and win their division.
That is controversial.
They finished, I think, as the first wild card last year, or the second wild card. But yeah, I think they're going to win their division.
Ever since their inception, they've been one of the better teams in the league.
Yeah.
Which is
pretty... I would love to do a video on this channel about the Vegas Golden Knights because it's such an anomaly that an expansion team was that good that early, has stayed at the top for this long, has already won a cup.
Yeah, exactly.
That's just unheard of.
Sorry, Jake. Yeah, I agree with you. I think they will win their division as well. I really do. They're just way too good, even when you think they're not going to be good because they lost, a lot of depth and stuff. At Vegas is just a winning city. What can I say?
Yeah, the defense core is so good. They have a 3-headed monster in Pietrangelo, Hannafin, and Shea Theodore. The only question mark for them is in net, and they're not the only team that has a question mark in net that we're going to get to, but I think they're going to find a way. They just do, and they just don't go away.
Nope.
So, moving on, we got the Carolina Hurricanes, a team that has also had a really good start after losing a lot in the offseason. The Carolina Hurricanes are interesting because they don't have like a superstar like a McDavid, like an Ovechkin, like a Crosby, but they're just such a well-rounded team, just from top to bottom, all 4 lines, the defense core, and talk about some underrated additions. Shane Gosper at a $3.2 million cap hit, who put up 56 points last year on the blue line. That's a steal.
Yeah,
that's a steal.
I would say so.
They have a good goaltending tandem. I don't know if they win their division. I want to say they're going to finish second, but they're definitely a playoff team. Definitely a playoff team.
After not retaining Gensel, I personally had questions about the team. And, well, they seem to be just fine.
Yeah.
I agreed. They're definitely a playoff team. I don't think they'll win the division either. We'll get to that team later. But they're still going to be in the playoffs, and they'll probably be the ones to knock out the Bruins. Let's just be real.
Yeah. History repeats itself.
That's right.
Moving on to the New York Islanders, who have been good as of late, but they have had a very tough time of it. Do not have a good record. So many injuries. They have like 3 of their 6 top defensemen out right now. Their top offensive player, Matthew Barzal's out with injury. Duclair, who they brought in the offseason's out with injury. So it just nothing has gone right for this team. This is also another team like Vegas, though, where they kind of always find a way to squeak into the playoffs.
Yeah, they just don't do anything.
But yeah. But, you know, so you got Rangers, Carolina, New Jersey, and the Capitals. Can the Islanders knock off any 4 of those teams? Or do 5 teams make in the Metro? I can't see 5 teams making the Metro. If there were 5 teams, it'd be in the Atlantic.
Yeah.
I'm going to say they're in the hunt. I don't think they make the playoffs, but it's going to be very, very close. That might come down to the wire where they miss by like 1 or 2 points.
Yeah, I agree. I think they'll be right there on the edge. But I wouldn't be surprised if they flipped to make it into the playoffs, knock somebody out. That's just what they seem to do. But I also think it is another year where they just don't do anything in the playoffs.
Yeah, definitely their X factors could be Sorokin, their goaltender. Yeah. He's been playing fantastic. Their first 10 games, this is an insane stat. In their first 10 games, they were shut out 4 times. That's how bad their scoring has been.
My God.
And he's been playing great. So if anybody can carry them to the playoffs, it's going to be him.
Yeah, exactly.
Moving on to the Winnipeg Jets. They are the first team in NHL history to win 14 of their first 15 games.
That's right.
Which is just insane. This team is firing on all cylinders. Everything has gone right.
The best team in hockey right now.
Is like their special teams numbers sustainable? No, probably not. Their power play is clicking at like above 40% right now. Insane. But they have arguably the best goaltender in the league, in Connor Hellebuyck. He won the Vezina last year, and he's making a great case to win it again.
Yeah.
With that being said, with the way Dallas has started out, we'll get to Dallas, the way Colorado started out. I think they ride this and win their division. They just had such a fantastic start. If they played 500 hockey from here, they'd have 96 points.
Yeah.
If they won half of their games. So, just a fantastic start, and this is why it's so important to get off to a fantastic start.
Yeah.
I think they ride it. Now, the playoffs, different story. They got lit up last year, but I think they win their division.
Yeah, I can't knock their amazing start, obviously. Historic. I did enjoy seeing their home crowd in the playoffs last year with their whiteouts. That was very, very cool.
I think that's cool as well.
I don't think they're gonna win the division though. I think they're gonna make I think they'll make the playoffs for sure. But man, if it's anybody from Canada, I'd love to see Winnipeg get to the cup. Besides McDavid, but as a team, Winnipeg. But I don't think their hot start is indicative of where they're going to finish
That's fair.
At the end of the year.
I wouldn't disagree with that.
So they're a playoff team, but I just don't think they're going to win the division.
Yeah, that's fair. It's just such a hot start that you just know it's not sustainable.
Yeah.
Like it's going to come down.
Yeah.
nobody can,
Unless you're the Bruins from 2 years ago.
well,
Best record in the regular season. Best regular season of all time.
yeah, and what happened?
And then what happened?
That's a different story, though. Moving on to the Los Angeles Kings, they lead their division right now. Their top defenseman, Drew Doughty, is down with injury. He's going to be out until, I think, December.
Mm-hmm.
But Brent Clark, the rookie, has like 13 points in 12 games, so he's really made up for it. With that being said, I don't think they win the division either. Well, I already picked Vegas to win the division. So they can't win the division. But I think they're a playoff team. Like I said, I'll pick my wild cards a little later, but I think they're a playoff team.
I agree. I think they're a playoff team.
What they do in the playoffs is also a different story because they've lost the Oilers in the first round in the past 3 years.
Correct.
So.
I think they'll be a wild card, but I don't think they're going to be able to catch up to Vegas or beat Vegas in the playoffs, especially if that happens, or the Oilers again. So.
Yeah. Excuse me. Moving on to the Seattle Kraken. It's tough because I really want to see Seattle do well.
Mm-hmm.
I really do. I don't know if I can blame it on the general manager, but I just don't think this team has a good enough roster right now to make the playoffs. With that being said, are they going to be in the hunt or are they going to be like bottom team? I think they're good enough to where they can be in the hunt, just like Calgary. I don't think they'll be as close to the line as, say, the Islanders might be.
Mm-hmm.
They might be like 6 or 8 points out.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just don't think they're good enough to make the playoffs. The year they did make the playoffs, a lot of guys had career years.
Right.
And then it just kind of came back down to earth.
Yeah. I agree. Seattle kind of just they kind of became my third favorite team, if that even matters.
Jerseys are fantastic. So like how can you not?
Yeah.
How can you not
love the jerseys? Love the mascot and the logo. Love it all. Love the arena. But I just, unfortunately, I think it's just going to keep going downhill, and I could see them being a lottery.
I was thinking about putting them in the lottery too. I thought with the other teams in the Pacific, we'll see. But yeah, I could definitely see them being lower in the lottery for sure.
Mm-hmm.
My Tampa Bay Lightning.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I said this when they were 7-3. I was like, man, they look like a contender again. Like they're firing on all cylinders, and then now they've lost 4 in a row.
Yep.
So now they're 7-6-1, and I think 4th in the Atlantic. Now what's working to their benefit is a lot of teams besides Florida are kind of mid in the Atlantic right now.
Yeah.
A lot of teams are close together. Are they going to be a wild card? I honestly was going to pick them to miss the playoffs this year. It was really going to depend on Vazzy, but after seeing their start, I think we're a better team than what we were last year.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to go ahead and throw in my first wild card. I think Tampa makes the playoffs, but I don't think they finish top 3 in the division.
Ooh, interesting. Okay. All right. We're just going to put them right here. And that, no, I'm just kidding.
I'd say they're not that bad.
Unless. No.
The Flyers in the shootout.
Yeah.
Yikes.
Huh. No, I think the Lightning are going to make the playoffs. I don't think we've said this now, I think a couple years. They're on the tail end of their amazing run, and I think it's just downhill every year. Last year was kind of an anomaly because Vazzy came in late and had his back surgery and it wasn't himself. So now he had a full healthy offseason and all that.
Exactly. This year, there's like no excuses.
Yeah, this is like the actual test. So you had a great start. Have since had a rough patch. If you lose 5 in a row, that's even worse. But I do I pick 2 wildcard teams coming out of the Atlantic?
Yeah, that means 5 would make it in the Atlantic, 3 in the Metro. So keep that in mind.
Mm. Yeah, I think so. I think I am.
Interesting.
And I think they'll also get knocked out in the first round.
Interesting. So I'm kind of curious to see what your top 3 is going to be, because if it's not the Bruins or the Lightning, that means it's got to be either the Sabres or the Ottawa Senators.
Yeah.
So, interesting. All right. All right. I like it. I like it. All right. Moving on to my most hated team, because they just beat us every time.
They own you.
For whatever reason.
They own you.
The Toronto Maple Leafs, I think, definitely are a playoff team, because you cannot bet against Austin Matthews.
Yeah.
Probably scoring 60 goals every single year. They signed Anthony Stolarz. They had a huge question mark in net. He's looked fantastic. The question I have with him is, though, I think the most games he's played was like 25-ish or something like that. So can he carry like a full-time starter workload of 55s, 60 games? Do they alternate him with Joseph Wall in 1A, 1B? They haven't looked great to start out, but their good starts have not been like their mantra.
Yeah.
Traditionally. So with that being said, I think they're easily a playoff team because of Austin Matthews.
Yeah, I don't really have much to disagree with there. I think they're a playoff team.
There's too much talent on that roster where they miss the playoffs.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, the Edmonton Oilers.
Connor McDavid. McJesus.
They have had the same, not the exact same start. There was
Similar.
a really bad start last year, but similar. They haven't had a great start.
But they didn't fire their coach this time.
No. So with that being said, they have McDavid, they have Draisaitl, obviously. Can't bet on those guys. I do think they're a playoff team. I don't think they're a wild card. And who else do I have in the Pacific? So yeah, I do think the Kings are going to be a wild card. I think the Oilers will finish third. So they played last year on an insane pace. I'm talking like a 120 point pace. They were 2-9-1. They finished second in the division.
Yeah.
I think what they're going to learn is they're going to learn to take their foot off the gas, kind of like what the Lightning did after 2019 when we got swept after having 62 wins. They're going to take their foot off the gas. They're going to be like, all right, like the regular season doesn't matter as much. I could see Connor McDavid maybe being a little conservative. Maybe he doesn't put up like 140, 130 points. I think will obviously still be like 110, 100, obviously above that. But maybe he just pulls it back a little bit, and then they're like, you know what? Make the playoffs, and then that's when the real work starts.
Okay. I think since last year, McDavid literally to the last second of Game 7 in the finals gave every single ounce that he had. It basically looked like just him in Game 7 against the entire Florida Panthers team.
Yeah, that whole top line of him, Draisaitl, and Hyman played like 13 minutes in the third period.
With that being said, I think they're going right back. I think they're doing it.
They're going to do what the Florida Panthers did after the Golden Knights, and now the Oilers are going to do the same thing.
Yeah, I think so.
Going to get all the way back there.
I think so.
All right. Very bold prediction. Very bold. All right. Where are we at? the Florida Panthers. Speaking of the devil, they've had another fantastic start. Sam Reinhart had 57 goals last year. That does not look like a fluke. He's been scoring at his same rate. Alexander Bogarkov, arguably the best defensive forward in the game. Sam Bennett's having a great year. I mean, this team's fantastic.
Yeah.
Even though there are in-state rivals, I honestly really love to see both Florida teams having this success.
Yeah.
There's no denying anymore that Florida is a hockey state. There's not going to be any talks of moving anytime soon, anything like that. That being said, I do think Florida's in a kind of a shoe-in for me to win the Atlantic Division again. It's pretty up for grabs, I would say.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're a wagon picking up right where they left off.
And I think we're going to have a Stanley Cup final rematch.
Okay.
I really do.
All right.
I think they're going to win the Atlantic. But I think we're going to have a Stanley Cup final rematch. I would be happy about it if this does come to fruition. I would be really happy for it. And honestly, I think it'd be a really great finals again.
All right. Interesting.
They're too good to not get back to the finals, I think.
That is true. I will not disagree with you there. All right, Pittsburgh Penguins. Ovi's rivals, Sid the Kid. Maybe not a kid anymore.
Yeah.
They call him Sid the middle-aged man now.
He does have a lot of gray hair now.
Yeah. So this team's very interesting. They're one of the oldest teams in the league. Their goal is to get back to the playoffs. They re-signed Sid. They have Malkin. They have Letane. They have Erik Karlsson on the back end. See how many playoff teams do I have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 10. Yeah, I don't think Pittsburgh is bad enough to be in the lottery, but I still don't think they're going to make the playoffs. So I think they're going to be in the hunt.
Yeah, just like last year, they just missed the playoffs, right?
Yeah.
So I think, unfortunately, like as great as, even though I don't really, like Sidney Crosby, as great as Crosby is, with having Crosby, who, let's be real, one of the greatest of all time. I don't know if they'll ever be a complete bottom team, even with given his age, like absolute worst of the worst kind of team.
Yeah, you can't go anywhere with just one person.
Yeah,
it just doesn't work like that. But I'm sure it doesn't bother him. He's got his cups. He's got 3 cups. He's got all his hardware.
Yeah.
At this point, it's just him finishing his career as a Penguin. So I respect it.
Yeah.
He's like, you know what? I'm good. I don't need to chase another championship.
Yeah, agreed.
I'll resign and play my whole career in Pittsburgh.
Which is very awesome. I love to see players stay in one spot.
Yeah, for sure. Moving on, the Nashville Predators. They're last in the league right now.
They suck.
Very surprising. I was not on the Predators train, though. I thought with all the additions they made in the offseason, including Stamkos, Marchessault, Shea.
What? Me?
Yeah. I just was not convinced that this team was going to be that good.
Mm-hmm.
Are they a playoff team with Saros, one of the best goaltenders in the league, Yossi? Do they have enough? So in the West, you got Dallas, Winnipeg, Avalanche, and the Wild, who have had a fantastic start. I already have another wild card. And then Pacific, you have Vancouver, Oilers, Vegas, Kings. Yeah, I don't think they make the playoffs. I think they'll be close, but I don't think they're going to make it.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think they're going to either.
I just think they've had such a bad start. And it's funny because we said the same thing about the Oilers.
Yeah.
And then look what they
Well,
did.
yeah, true.
But
You just don't.
it's also the Oilers. They have,
Yeah.
McDavid, Draisaitl. They have, just such great players. I don't know. I just don't think Nashville's going to do that. It's very rare that a team has has a bad start and then recovers that good.
Yeah.
That's not normal.
No.
Like really ever since the 2019 Blues where they were like last in the league in January
Yeah.
and then made the playoffs, that's not normal. That's an anomaly.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think the Predators missed the playoffs. Sorry, Stamkos. Moving on to the Rangers. This will be my last division winner. So you got Vegas Pacific, Central. Yep. So the New York Rangers will win the Metro Division for the second year in a row. Shesterkin, that's enough said. One of the best goalies in the league. Forward core, is loaded. Back end looks very good. Adam Fox, one of the best defensemen in the league. Yeah, not really much to be said. Just we'll see when it comes playoff time.
Yeah, I agree with you.
And they did make the Eastern Conference Finals last year, so they could very well go to the final. You never know.
Oh yeah, for sure. No, I agree. Best team in hockey really all last year till the playoffs. Even for most of the playoffs they were till the finals. So
Yeah.
I agree. I don't see anything to say that they've really dropped off that much. So
Yeah. So moving on, it's really funny how these three teams are together. They call this the Bermuda Triangle of Mid.
yeah.
Detroit, first up, I think has gotten worse in the offseason.
Hmm?
And so far, it hasn't worked out for them. I'm really starting to kind of question the Iser plan. I mean, I just think it's not really his fault. I just think people in Detroit, haven't been in the playoffs for so long since 2016, and they've been bad for a long time.
Yeah.
I just think they're running out of patience. That being said, I think this team is still 2 to 3 years out from competing. They need to let their young players develop because a lot of that roster, there's a lot of veterans on there. They're not going to be on the team in the next 2 or 3 years.
Yeah.
So they're not there yet. So I don't think they're going to be in the hunt either, like they were last year. I think they're going to be close to the lottery.
Yeah, I think they're going to be a lottery team this year too.
Yeah, I think they need another top draft pick.
Yeah.
I think that'd be really good for them.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, the Buffalo Sabres. Do I put my faith in Buffalo? Because I've done that before, and it's just disappointment after disappointment.
That's right.
I'm sorry, Jake. But do I learn from the sins of the past? If I have Buffalo as a wild card, because I don't think they're going to be top 3. So that would have 5 teams in the Atlantic and 3 in the Metro. Then you'd have the Capitals, the Rangers, the Devils, and the Hurricanes all battling out.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry. I don't think
Oh, Jake.
I don't think they're going to make it. I think
Again.
as it was 2 years ago, I think they're going to be very, very close. But I think they're going to just miss out. I don't think it's their time yet. I think once the Lightning fall off in the next year, it will be their time. I'm so sorry. I really hate to do it. I might change it too. I might change this list. So. And
well, these are our predictions, though. You can change it within the video, I'd say, but not after. This is it.
Yeah. Well, you couldn't have them make the playoffs either unless you have them in the top 3.
Yeah.
Do you really think they're going to be better than Boston and the Lightning? do the Lightning finish third maybe, and Boston and the Sabres have the wild card?
Yeah, that's what I was just trying to go over in my head. Where I think actually, I'll bump the Lightning up. I do think the Lightning are better than the Bruins this year, even though I still think they're going to get knocked out. But I'll give it to you, Buffalo. I am not. Yeah, I think it's 50-50. I'm not extremely confident, but I'm hoping this is the year that the streak ends. Finally ends.
Yeah. Yeah, that's tough. I might change it. I feel bad.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
So, with that being said, the Ottawa Senators, I think they're also gonna be in the hunt. They're gonna be better than last year. Uh, but yeah, I don't think it's their time yet. I
Yeah.
don't until these teams start falling off. It's just gonna be so tough.
Yeah, I agree. I think they're going to be in the hunt.
All right, and the San Jose Sharks are gonna no, no, they're obviously a lottery team. But Macklin Celebrini has been very good to start out, the number one overall draft pick.
Rebuild, but showing some signs
Yeah.
of improvement.
And they're fun to watch this year.
Yeah.
I mean, last year they were just awful, absolutely awful. Even though this year they still had like an 0-7-2 start, they're a lot more fun to watch.
Yeah.
So I'm being serious.
Yeah.
They're a lot more fun to watch. So I think San Jose just continues the rebuild. The rebuild chugs along. All right, the Dallas Stars. They are obviously a playoff team. Because I have all my division leaders. Their superstars have had a little bit of tough time getting it going. But this team is definitely. I think this team in the Central is the most like consistently well-rounded. Like obviously Winnipeg is right now, but they're gonna come back down to earth. But I think Dallas is the most well-rounded team, consistent.
I'm going to give them the division lead here. I think they can win out the division. I don't think they're going to get to the finals or anything, but I think they'll at least win the division and get through to the playoffs.
All right, cool. Moving on to the Utah Hockey Club. They honestly have a really good roster on paper.
On paper.
That being said, I do think there are a couple, not even maybe a couple years, maybe as soon as next year, I think they can make the playoffs. But I think this season they'll be in the hunt more so than a lottery team. But I do think they will just miss out.
Yeah. I agree. I agree. I don't think they're making it, and I hope they actually keep the name moving forward. I genuinely do.
All right.
And the colors. I love the colors.
I do too, and I think a lot of people already know that probably it's going to be Utah Yeti. So I'm really interested to see like what that logo looks like, because that could be a fantastic logo.
Yeah.
Like with the Kraken monster, you could do something like that with Utah.
Yeah.
For sure. All right, and the last team on the board, the Minnesota Wild. They've had a fantastic start. Kaprizov, their top forward, looks like a Hart Trophy candidate, like top 3.
Yeah.
The goaltending's really bounced back. This may very well be Fleury's final season.
Unfortunately.
So, just what an incredible career. I would love to meet the guy someday.
Yeah.
Like, just have like a cup of coffee with him. He just seems like just such a nice guy.
Yeah, agreed.
So they are a playoff team for me. So who are my last 2 wild cards is the question. I think there's going to be 4 and 4 in the Metro and the Atlantic. Capitals have had a really good start, and I do think they can ride this. New Jersey, though, I have some questions about New Jersey. I think New Jersey comes down a little bit. I think they finish in the wild card, and I think the Capitals finish third, the Hurricanes second, and then the Rangers finish first. And then my West, you have Colorado, Winnipeg. Yep. And then you got Oilers, Vancouver Canes. Hmm. And Vegas. Do 5 teams make it out of the Central? So, nah, I can't. I can't see Vancouver missing the playoffs. I can't see the Oilers missing the playoffs. Yeah, I think I think Minnesota comes down as well. I think it'll be even throughout the league, 4-4 and 4-4.
Yeah, I
So
think Minnesota's gonna squeak in as wild card. Get Flower Power his one last ride in the playoffs potentially. Um, and side note, I think the Wild's logo is one of my favorite in all of the National Hockey League.
oh, there you go. So who is going to be my Stanley Cup final matchup?
That's right.
Now is the question.
It is the
So,
question.
Colorado, I don't think has enough depth. They would like have McKinnon and them would have to go on like a huge tear.
Yeah.
I definitely think Florida's gonna make it back. I cannot see, like you said, a situation where Florida does not make it back.
Okay.
I'd love to give the nod to the Rangers, but in the playoffs, the defensive side of the play kind of falls off. They just they lost pieces, Florida, and they just don't seem like it's phased them at all.
No.
So, do I pick the Oilers to the West though, or Dallas? Because for me, it's between Dallas and Edmonton. Hmm. You know what? It. I'm like I want to pick this because it would just be such a good story too. I.
Even Howie's like, let's go.
I'll give in. I'll give in.
Okay.
I'll give it.
All right.
It might be because that would just be like one of the most fantastic stories
Yeah.
I've seen in hockey.
Yeah.
I want to say Dallas, but I really hope it's this.
Okay.
I'll be with you. I'll be with you. Yeah.
Wow.
So yeah, I have 3 division leaders getting knocked out, and you also have 3 division leaders getting knocked out.
That's right.
So there's gonna be some upsets in the playoffs.
Agreed.
All right. Yeah, I think I'm happy with that list. I got an even amount of teams in the hunt and in the lottery. So yeah, I think I'm pretty happy with that list. So
Yeah, me too.
so mine's on the left, Shay's is on the right. That's the playoffs. So since this video is going long, I might split these up. But we'll go ahead and move on to the divisions here. So I'm not gonna go into as too much detail.
Yeah.
But Florida right now is leading their division, so I think they will win their division. Obviously, I do think Toronto finishes second. Tampa's gonna finish third. Well, I have Tampa in the wild card, so I'll have Boston finish third. I'll have Tampa finish in the wild card. I'm gonna have the Sabres just missing out behind them. I'm gonna have Ottawa, then Detroit, then Montreal. So that's the Atlantic.
Yeah, I'm gonna have Detroit win it. No, I'm just kidding. That would make sense after we just did our standings prediction, or playoff prediction. Sorry. Yeah, Florida definitely gonna be up there, winning the whole thing. I do think Toronto's second. This is where we flip. It's funny. It's our teams. We think our opposite team of each other is going to do better. So,
Yeah.
Lightning.
It could go.
Then the
It
Bruins.
really could go either way
It could.
for sure.
Then the Sabres. Yeah, I'll give it to Ottawa. And then the Canadians are always going to be dead last. So
Yeah.
there we go.
In a perfect world. All right, so the
my perfect
Metro.
world.
Yeah, so the Metro, I have the Rangers winning, and then I'll have Carolina second, Capitals third, New Jersey fourth. I think the Islanders will be fifth, just missing out in the playoffs. I would like for Columbus to be sixth. Do I think it happens? Probably not. So I'm gonna have the Penguins. I think Columbus is a better team, and then Philly at the bottom.
Oof. That hurts.
The first two divisions I've got in order the same as like they're in the standings right now.
Oh, okay. So
I didn't realize that.
I did pick the Rangers to win their division. I think I'm gonna be the same here, except this is where we'll differ. I think Jersey's gonna beat out the Caps, though I think Ovechkin, unless barring injury, will break Gretzky's record this year.
So just keep in mind that means you have Jersey and the Capitals making the playoffs though. In your playoff thing.
Yeah. I have been there.
Yeah. But you picked you have 4 Metro teams, but you picked 2 wild cards in the Atlantic. So somebody has to miss the playoffs.
Huh.
Yeah. So if you think the Capitals are going to finish 4th and you have 5 in the Atlantic, then that means the Capitals would miss the playoffs. So they'd be in the hunt.
So this is just wrong anyway.
Yeah. That's what I was saying.
Oh.
Because you can't have 4 in the Metro and 5 in the Atlantic.
Yeah.
So somebody has to come out. So do you pick the Sabres to miss the playoffs?
Oh, Jake.
Do you think the Capitals are gonna make it? Yikes!
I'm sorry, Jake. Hey, I'm sorry.
I listen. I want to be wrong.
I want to be wrong.
I want to
too.
be wrong so bad. I really do.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. Oh, sorry. I'll say the Flyers are not going to be dead last.
All right. Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Jeez.
Biased. Biased much?
Philly bias.
All right. The Central. I do think the Jets will. That's your list.
Oh, we almost got through.
Almost. Damn it. All right.
Damn it.
Jets will win their division, like I said. Who do I have in the wild card? I think the Avalanche bounce back. I think they will finish second. I think Dallas is going to finish third. Minnesota is going to finish fourth. I do think Nashville is going to finish fifth and just miss out. I honestly, I'm going to have Utah finish sixth, and then the Blues are seventh, and then Blackhawks are eighth.
Wow.
So I have the Blues kind of falling off. Sorry, Mr. G.
All right, I had sorry. I had Dallas winning out the division. Ooh. I'll give Winnipeg second.
It's just with that great start, you can't not have like the first or second.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
feel like.
Yeah, I'll give them.
I mean, they could like really fall off, but I don't see that happening.
I'll give them second. Realistically though,
I honestly could even see Nashville finishing as low as seventh.
Actually, I am gonna put them there. I feel bad for Bedard, but they're rebuilding for him, so it's gonna be okay.
They're just not there yet.
Yeah.
All right, so the Pacific, I have almost did it again. I have Vegas finishing first.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's gonna be. Because I have the Kings as a wild card. Ooh, do I want to change that though? Ooh, you know what? I'm gonna make a change.
Oh shit!
I'm gonna actually say the Kings finish top 3, and I think Vancouver is gonna finish as a wild card.
Oh, okay.
So I'm gonna have the Kings actually finish second. Oilers are gonna finish third, so they're gonna have another rematch in the first round.
Yeah.
And then I will have the Canucks finishing as a wild card. And then I don't think Calgary is going to fall off. I think Calgary is going to finish fifth. They have good goaltending. They have a good team there. I don't think good enough to make the playoffs. And then I'll have Seattle 6. I will have. Ooh, actually, that'd be interesting. Nah, I can't. I'd have to say the Sharks finished last. I was thinking about putting Anaheim last, but the Sharks definitely should finish last. They have a worse team on paper.
Yeah. All right. I also had Vegas. So we were the same in every division except for the Central for the division winners anyway.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say Oilers are gonna get second, followed by the Canucks and the Kings.
That'd be a good series actually. Oilers. Well, they did me in the second round last year, but
yeah,
that was a fantastic series. So it would be.
Yeah.
It'd be cool to see that again.
Yeah. Agreed. I'm gonna agree with you on about Calgary. Actually, I think the entire rest of it is gonna be the same for us here.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm happy with it.
Yeah, I'm good with it as well. So just to review, just one change I made. I switched the Kings and the Canucks, so I think the Canucks will finish as a wild card. Kings will finish top 3. So once again, there's our. Well, so now is another thing. Did you pick the Oilers to win the cup, or do you think Florida's gonna win?
Oilers. I think McDavid's gonna do it. Finally.
I am gonna go different.
Okay.
I am gonna say they get back there again, and it's gonna be another heartbreak. I just think when it comes to, it's gonna come down to, if this happens, it's gonna come down to their goaltending. Stuart Skinner and Sergei Bobrovsky.
Yeah.
And just Bobrovsky has the resume
to
have the edge. I could definitely see it though going the distance again, like a 6 or 7 game series.
I agree.
Could be a similar story to like the 08-09 finals where the Penguins and Red Wings met 2 years in a row. And the Red Wings won in 08 and then the Penguins won in 09. I think both of them were 6-7 game series. So could be something similar to that.
I think it'll definitely go the distance, but
you just don't think McDavid will let that happen again.
Yeah, I don't think McDavid and Draisaitl, the rest of the team, are gonna be. It's just so much fuel, especially if they do get back to the finals. It's so much fuel for them to use. All right, we know what happened last year.
Yeah,
let's get it done this time, and they almost did. They almost did last year. So,
yeah. All right, well, that's our list. Again, here's our regular season standings by division. And that's gonna do it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I apologize about that.
Sorry about the dogs.
Yeah, we'll probably split this up into 2 videos. We'll do regular season then playoffs, because we're now going into like an hour and 10 minutes right now.
Yeah.
But that's our video. Thank you guys so much for watching. We'll be doing the NBA standings later this week. And we'll be recording the podcast tomorrow, so look out for that this week. We'll be talking about the Marvel series Agatha. There's a new trailer for Captain America Brave New World.
Marvel?
Baseball's over, but we have NASCAR to talk about because the season has just ended and crowned a new champion. So, and football and hockey and all that fun stuff. Some fun topics coming up. So, look forward to that. And if you're new around here and you want more content like this, make sure to subscribe. And you also get early access to our podcast every week.
What?
And it's free.
Free?
So there's no reason why you shouldn't click that subscribe button. So with that, thank you again for watching, and we will see y'all in the next one.